Imagine you're sick. Fever, pain, weakness. Now imagine there's no doctor within 50,000 years of you, no pharmacy, not even a Band-Aid. What do you do? That was reality for every human who ever lived before about 5,000 years ago. And yet they survived. Not just survived, they figured things out. They developed medical knowledge so sophisticated that some of it is still saving lives today. This is the story of prehistoric medicine. And it's nothing like what you learned in school. Let's start with a chimpanzee in Tanzania. She's sick. Her stomach is full of parasites. But instead of lying down and suffering, she does something remarkable. She seeks out a specific plant, Aspelia, and carefully swallows the leaves whole without chewing. Why? Because those rough, hairy leaves physically scrape the worms out of her gut as they pass through. Scientists call this zoopharmacognosy, animals using natural substances as medicine. And here's the thing, humans have been watching animals do this for hundreds of thousands of years. We learned from them. It's not just primates. Deer, parrots, elephants, dozens of species practice something called geophagy, eating dirt. Sounds crazy, right? But those clays are rich in minerals like kyolinite and montmorillonite, compounds that neutralize plant toxins and soothe intestinal inflammation. Indigenous human cultures still use these same clays today. The animals were the first pharmacists. Humans just paid attention. So, how do we know ancient humans actually practiced medicine? The proof is literally stuck in their teeth. In 2012, scientists analyzed the dental plaque of Neanderthals from El Cedrón Cave in Spain. One individual had been eating poplar bark, which contains salicylic acid, the active ingredient in aspirin. He also had a dental abscess, and his tooth plaque showed traces of penicillium fungus, a natural antibiotic. This Neanderthal was self-medicating. He had a tooth infection so bad he was chewing bitter tree bark and consuming moldy vegetation to fight it. And it probably worked. Poplar bark and penicillium, one becomes aspirin, the other becomes the first antibiotic. These aren't random discoveries. Neanderthals were systematically using the natural world as a pharmacy. They also used yarrow, a plant that stops bleeding, chamomile, which reduces inflammation, and dozens of other plants we still use in medicine today. The knowledge was passed down through generations long before writing existed. In 1991, hikers in the Ötztal Alps found a body frozen in ice. He was 5,300 years old. His name is Ötzi, and he's the most complete ancient human ever discovered. But what makes Ötzi extraordinary is what he was carrying. In his pouch, birch polypore fungus, a natural antibiotic and anti-inflammatory. He also had tattoos, 61 of them, lines and crosses precisely placed on his lower back, knees, and ankles, exactly where he had arthritis and joint degeneration. These aren't decorative tattoos, they're acupuncture points. Ötzi was receiving treatment for chronic pain 2,000 years before acupuncture was supposedly invented in China. The story of aspirin begins with willow bark. Ancient Egyptians used it, Hippocrates prescribed it, and 50,000 years before any of them, Neanderthals were chewing it for the same reason, to reduce fever and pain. In the 1800s, scientists finally isolated the active compound, salicylic acid. It was harsh on the stomach, so they modified it slightly, creating acetylsalicylic acid. They called it aspirin. It became the world's most widely used medicine, and its origins trace directly back to a Neanderthal with a toothache. Now let's talk about brain surgery. In the Stone Age, trepanation, drilling a hole into the skull, is one of the oldest surgical procedures known. We've found trepanned skulls from 7,000 years ago across Europe, Africa, and South America. And here's the shocking part. Many of them show healed bone around the edges. These patients survived. How? Obsidian blades are sharper than modern surgical steel. Flint drills could cut clean, precise holes, and they clearly understood infection control. There's no evidence of sepsis in the healed skulls. Survival rate? Studies suggest around 70%. That's comparable to early modern brain surgery. And they did it without anesthesia, without electricity, without any written medical knowledge. At Ein Malah in Israel, archaeologists uncovered a 12,000-year-old grave. Inside, an elderly woman buried with extraordinary care. Around her body were 50 tortoise shells, eagle wing bones, a leopard pelvis, and a human foot. This wasn't a typical burial. This was a shaman, a healer. Shamans were the world's first doctors. They didn't just perform rituals. They knew which plants treated which conditions, how to set broken bones, and when trepanation might relieve pressure on the brain. Their cave pharmacies held dozens of medicinal herbs, sorted and stored for different ailments. The line between spirituality and medicine was blurry, but the results were real. Of course, not every experiment worked out. For every willow bark discovery, there was probably someone who ate the wrong mushroom and, well, let's just say trial and error had a very literal cost in the Stone Age. But here's what's incredible. Ancient humans didn't just treat symptoms with external remedies. They understood that the body heals itself. Fever, for instance. Today we treat it like the enemy, but fever is one of the body's most sophisticated defense mechanisms. Raising your core temperature makes it harder for bacteria and viruses to reproduce, while simultaneously speeding up your immune response. Ancient healers observed this. They knew fever had a purpose. Sometimes they even induced it deliberately, using hot springs or sweat lodges to help the body fight infection. But perhaps the most remarkable evidence of prehistoric medicine isn't about plants or surgery. It's about compassion. Shanidar I was a Neanderthal, male, roughly 40 to 50 years old, found in Shanidar Cave, Iraq. His body tells an extraordinary story. He was blind in one eye from a blow to the skull that had healed. His right arm had been amputated below the elbow and had withered. He was deaf in one ear, and he had advanced arthritis and periodontal disease so severe he had lost most of his teeth. By every measure, Shanidar I should have been dead. In the harsh world of the Pleistocene, a one-armed, one-eyed, deaf, toothless individual couldn't hunt, couldn't gather, couldn't defend himself. But he lived. For at least 10 to 15 years with these injuries. Why? Because his tribe fed him. They chewed his food for him. They protected him. They cared for him. This is the oldest evidence of healthcare in human history, and it's not about medicine, it's about love. For all their medical knowledge, ancient humans faced one brutal reality: infant mortality. Without modern interventions, roughly 40 to 50% of children didn't survive to age 5. Infections, malnutrition, accidents. But here's what the archaeological record also shows. Those children who died were buried with care, with beads, flowers, offerings. Their parents grieved. They mourned. They remembered. The will to heal wasn't just practical. It was deeply emotional. Every failed treatment was a loss. Every success was a victory against impossible odds. Fast forward to today. The pharmacy aisle in any drugstore contains hundreds of medications, but the core principle hasn't changed. We still look to nature for medicine. Aspirin from willow bark, morphine from poppies, quinine from cinchona bark, digoxin from foxglove. The World Health Organization estimates that 40% of modern pharmaceuticals are derived from natural compounds, many of which were first identified by indigenous and prehistoric peoples. The caveman chewing bark and the pharmacist filling a prescription are connected by an unbroken chain of human knowledge, stretching back tens of thousands of years. So what did ancient humans do when they got sick? They observed animals and learned from them. They experimented with plants and discovered antibiotics. They performed surgery with obsidian tools. They cared for their disabled and elderly for decades. They built a body of medical knowledge so powerful it shaped modern medicine. They weren't primitive. They were pioneers. And every time you take an aspirin or benefit from surgery, you're part of a story that began not in a laboratory, but in a cave around a campfire with someone trying to help someone else feel better. That's the real story of medicine. Not a sudden discovery, a 50,000-year act of human care. If you want to understand where we came from, hit subscribe. New videos every week exploring the lives of the humans who came before us. See you in the next one.